Hello there, yes. Well, it is at last Friday. I did manage to get pretty damp yesterday, which wasn't fun, and no doubt going out today I'll get pretty damp as well. I just wanted to share just awful stuff that's out there on social media at the moment. I mean, we'll start on a sliding scale of awfulness, but at the top end of the scale we have free speech merchants who, like Richard Tice, who doesn't want people to have free speech simply because he disagrees with people. Yeah, I mean, having spent a lot of the last 6 months or so complaining bitterly because people are walking slowly on pavements, we now have complaining bitterly because I simply don't agree with people. We have Peter Whittle, and who's quoting somebody, but manages to actually engage in the vastest amount of projection about the New Culture Forum I think I've ever read. Let me just talk about this. They need this failure because without it, all their nonsensical, convoluted political theories, all the ridiculous victim hierarchies and weird psychological complexes projected on the world make no sense and will be revealed as the worthless, nasty nest of guilt and prejudice they really are. Yes, indeed, we don't need Israel not to exist for that, Peter. We have videos from the New Culture Forum. One has only to look at celebrated historian and author Rafe's bow tie to know what dire straits we're already in, and sliding into just outright racism. Inevitably, we have Douglas Murray, who once again, why do we allow protests that glorify slaughter? My column in this week's Spectator. Yes, indeed, let's just ban political protests about anything that we don't agree with. There you go, Doug. It's not a problem, mate, but please don't ever mention the notion of freedom again, will you? Yeah? Especially not for people that aren't as posh as you, or maybe a slightly darker colour. And then, thinking about, such sort of Christo-fascist ideas, we have Connor, who whilst saying that it's perfectly acceptable for Christians, what he likes, to hang around places aggravating people with their fairly aggressive faith, no one else should do it. Oh no, there's only one true God, and that's Connor's one. That's the one we need. The rest of you, oh no, we're not going to let that one be, are we? Especially guys with a funny smile. They're a bit odd, aren't they? Yeah, they're not like us decent Christians. And then lastly, sliding in slimily, in a slimy sort of way, we have inevitably Darren Grimes, who just manages to go all the way there. So here we go. There are now calls for Europe to take 1 million, in capitals, lots, people from Gaza. That would expedite Europe's death. Posh word for him. It's already on life support. Yes, what does that remind you of? A whole bunch of people coming here to replace us, methinks, eh? Might be handy, Darren, if you got together with your mates with some tiki torches, maybe a slogan like, "The Gazans will not replace us." Sounds great, eh? Because after all, there are good people on both sides. Just the kind of freedom that we need to have Darren and his mates with torches. Douglas wouldn't mind, and the rest of them, Peter Whittle would be cheering on, wouldn't he? That's the kind of free speech we need. Yes, I love it when people use foreign things to show us exactly the way forwards. It should terrify you, these people. It really should, because you can complain about left-wingers like me, but I never suggest that people shouldn't be allowed to say things, or indeed, do things on a reasonable level. I do suggest that they shouldn't be allowed to do that if it directly harms people, but this lot aren't into the notion of direct harm. With them, it's just bad enough that you think the wrong thing, or just look a bit funny, or indeed just pray in the wrong place. Yeah? Anyway, do have a lovely Friday. It is finally time for a weekend. I need a nap, or 7, maybe even 8, definitely.